The United States and Canada are two very similar but different countries. Both of them are federal and democratic states, and they share many cultural similarities. However, America is known for its military strength, while Canada is slowly but surely becoming one of the happiest, most intelligent countries in the world. These countries have some very large gaps when it comes to subjects such as healthcare, education, and government. Both countries address their problems differently, and the process in which laws are made is also very contrasting. There are passionate and varying opinions on the topic of which system is more effective. Some people believe that Canada has an exemplary system that we should look to for inspiration. Here we will take a closer look at why.
Canada is a constitutional monarchy, a royal leading system. The Queen is represented by the Governor General, the head of state. The Prime Minister is the head of the government. The Prime Minister, along with members of the Cabinet, are expected to be in the Senate or House of Commons, the two parliamentary houses. There is a limited amount of time that they can hold a seat in the government, allowing the elected leader to hold power. Elections for the Prime Minister must be held each year rather than every 4 years like the President of the Americas. Senators are appointed by the Governor and the Prime Minister, who serve up to 75 years old. In legislation, government bills are introduced by the members of the Cabinet. Prolonged arguments with the government can result in re-election of the government or House of Commons due to faulty politicians. Politicians are more inclined to do their job, for they can be re-elected due to misconduct and faulty decisions. Canada's leaders follow an unwritten constitution. The government is decentralized, meaning its power is more displaced than the USA, where the president decides more than the rest of the constitution.
Socialist-type societies and democratic-type societies have different outlooks on the education system by nature. Socialist countries try to make schools seem more appealing by either charging low prices, nothing at all, or even paying students to attend. Democracies, however, tend to make the school system seem challenging yet rewarding. In the United States, attending college is not for everyone. Many people cannot afford to go to a good college. In fact, only 30% of students in the United States graduate from college. This means that the remaining 70% are going to have a dramatically harder time finding employment. In Canada, however, 53% of all citizens graduate college. A large part of this is because in Canada, the government funds a big part of the education system. If you are a citizen, college is very cheap. Tuition for the average school in the United States averages around $30,000, while tuition in Canada is around $5,000 for citizens and $15,000 for international, including food, housing, etc. Not only is there a higher graduation rate, but Canada often scores higher on tests. On the PISA exam in 2009, the United States scored 500 in reading and 487 in math, while Canada scored 524 and 527. Despite these scores, applying to schools in Canada is still a very much less rigorous process. For example, the University of British Columbia generally only looks at each student's 12th grade scores. Also, many schools there do not require an SAT or ACT score.
I lived in Canada, and so I experienced their national health care for 3 years, and I felt that it worked really well. But I think all Canadians have that, and that's probably something that we need to strive for here in the United States.
People aren't left behind in Canada's healthcare, whereas in the US, many people can't afford healthcare. Canadians take big pride in their community to thrive in good healthcare for everyone. Their general healthcare in Canada is excellent to start with. Care for patients versus the United States is better in many ways. Cancer, cardio problems, and other diseases are treated way better due to good healthcare. Funds for the healthcare are more directed to patients Instead of the administrations therefore giving immediate help to cure diseases, it is more effective to help the patients instead of building in business-wise. It is in fact more costly, but the cause outweighs the reason for not high funding. Since healthcare is expanded to the people of Canada, it becomes a political problem. Therefore, any changes to healthcare have to go through the government. Although the healthcare isn't proactive against prevention, it is good at caring for diseases once they already have become a problem.
All Canadians, from what I understand, have access to healthcare. It's like I guess it's a national right. Most modern Western nations have, all modern Western nations, I think, pretty much have nationalized healthcare, except for us.
Another point that should be mentioned is that Canada has not been in a war for over 200 years. This was the War of 1812, which we were also involved in. The last time the United States declared war was September 10th, 2014, 2 weeks ago. The time before that was June 16th, 2014. America feels the need to take on everyone else's problems. If we're not happy with a current event, we take action, and if it does not fall in our favor, we declare war. It is a process that has been proven again and again. Some more examples of this are the 2011 military intervention in Libya and the Iraq War. In contrast, Canada deals with its own affairs above everything else. The United States has often been referred to as the greatest country in the world. Many people argue that our freedom is what sets us apart from the rest. However, there are 207 sovereign states in the world, and around 87% of them have freedom. Statistically, we are not the smartest country in the world. However, we lead the world in the number of incarcerated citizens per capita, defense spending, more than the next 26 countries combined, strongest military, obesity, and highest GDP. If there are so many similar systems of governing, how are we to be sure that we are the best? Maybe there are other systems of governing that work better. The only way we will find out is if we can open our minds to constructive criticism and new ideas.